This is your television station for Nova, Masterpiece Theater, Second Look, and The Dick Cavett Show. This is Channel 49, WIPB, Muncie. Public broadcasting for East Central, Indiana. Local production support of Second Look was made possible by a grant from Van Tassel's Fireside Furniture and Clock Gallery.
Good evening. We have a three-part program. We're going to lead off with an interview with the new Miss Ball State. Then we have a very interesting informal interview with the new president of Ball State, Dr. Robert P. Bell. And then we're going to talk about the ever-expanding SVS programs. But first, let me introduce you to Sande Schrier. I think probably everybody saw your picture this morning. Did you look for it when you first got up?
Yes,
God.
I did.
Good. I think the obvious question everyone wants to know is how you felt. Or is there any period during the judging that you felt this is it?
No, I have to admit that I thought all the way that it could have been any of the girls because we were all so close, not only as friends, but I felt as talent that all the girls were just wonderful.
But I can see why you won.
Oh, thank you.
Where is your home?
In Brownsburg, Indiana.
And you major at Ball State?
It's radio and television.
Good, that's a good field. We like that. And you're what year?
I'm a sophomore here at Ball State.
A sophomore.
Mm-hmm.
In the judging, they have various kinds of competition.
Mm-hmm.
Which did you find the most difficult?
I would say the most difficult would be the interview because there you are face-to-face talking with them and you don't know what questions they're going to ask you. So I would say the interview would be the most difficult.
What did they ask?
Well, one lady asked me, I was interested in modeling, that's what I put down on my resume. I had gone to a modeling school and she asked me what I thought of the 12 and 13-year-olds being portrayed as 25-year-olds. And I thought that was a difficult question to answer.
How did you handle it?
Well, I told her that if the parents checked out the different places and just made sure that their daughter's attitudes were okay, that I didn't see anything wrong with that at all.
Good. Then they obviously liked the answer.
I hope so.
That's good. Have your duties for the coming year been outlined?
Some of them. Just this summer, I will go to the Miss Indiana pageant in June, the 21st through the 27th, and compete for Miss Indiana.
And then, of course, there is certain events at Ball State.
Yes. Yes, but as of now, I don't know any of them right now.
Have you entered and won or been close to winning other competitions?
No, I have never been involved in any before, so this was quite a surprise.
Great. What prompted this? Or who prompted it?
Well, my dorm did. Bosford Hall, I was sponsored by them, and they asked me to be in it, so I went ahead and ran for it.
And you won.
Yes.
Good. All right. What's been the reaction this morning?
Oh, just wonderful. I just walking down the street and somebody will stop me and say, I saw your picture in the paper, congratulations, and just very nice comments. I just really enjoyed it.
Everything's been very positive and upbeat.
Yes, so far, yes.
Yeah, that's good. You, of course, will be presiding at various events around campus, such as parades or whatever other more formal events that we have scheduled.
Right.
Good. Do you get in the homecoming parade too?
I think so.
Good. And one question that always comes to mind, do you get to keep the lovely tiara?
Yes, I'm so happy. Yes.
Good. Did you find the competition difficult at any stage?
For me, yes, was the bathing suit. We had to do a bathing suit competition, and I get kind of embarrassed easy, and that was sort of difficult to keep your poise and say, oh, well, I look okay in this bathing suit.
Sure. Of course, there has been discussion of doing away with this. Do you think it should be done away with, or do you think it's an important part?
I think it's a very important part for the girls, not only to be chosen for the preliminaries, but just to be in it and the friends that you meet and the scholarship is very important. I know it is to me anyway.
Good. It'll be a big help.
Very much so.
That's right. We do call it the scholarship pageant.
Yes.
Yes, and that's very important.
It is.
Good. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Sande Schrier, Miss Ball State for the coming year. Newly elected yesterday at Ball State University. And now we would like to introduce you to the new president at Ball State University, Dr. Robert P. Bell, in an informal interview we had with the president last week. Dr. Bell, you bring many years of expertise to your new job.
Well, I've spent 34 years of my professional life on the staff, the faculty, as administrator and so on. This, of course, added to 4 years as a student, makes us believe that our home is Muncie.
And of course, you worked hard for your education in the early days during the Depression.
Yes, didn't we all? Those were Depression days. There just wasn't any money. But of course, costs weren't so high. But everybody worked, and everybody had to earn their way as they go. Almost everybody anyway.
And it is unique that several members of your family are Ball State graduates.
Indeed they are. My wife was a student here when I met her. I didn't let her stay to finish because we just had to get married and get on about this matter of living. When we returned to the campus, our son was about to graduate from Ball State, and my wife decided that was the time she should graduate. So she did. Our daughter graduated here in '71, took her master's in '72. As I found my wife here, my son found his wife here, my daughter found her husband here, so they too are Ball State people. I have a brother and I have a sister-in-law, both of whom have degrees at Ball State University. So it's quite a family tradition.
What has impressed you most about the growth of the university, both academically and physically, since your days of the early 30s when it was just a small college?
Well, of course, when I first came here, the quadrangle, or the circle, was the entire campus. At that time, I had a room on Calvert Street, and I was then permitted to move into Elliott Hall, the first residence hall for men. Spent my last 2 years there, and that was the beginning of the war period, when little happened in the way of expansion. In fact, we declined. I was then invited to join the staff in 1947, and that, of course, is when the GIs were returning. We laughed at the time. Two of us came the same year, and we debated as to who was a senior member, because we didn't know if after the GIs were through, if we'd have jobs or not. Well, from that point on, there was no stopping. The growth, not only in number, but in the curricula that were offered, in the types of programs that students could come here and learn, added a great deal to the interest of the community and to all the students that were coming, but also to the faculty who were here. I think the growth in the campus itself has been quite phenomenal when you look at how many buildings now are outside this circle that used to constitute the entire campus. There are so many exciting things. When we became a university, we were all very excited about it. And I should say that perhaps the addition of the College of Architecture did as much as any other one single thing to add to the stature of our being a university.
You yourself have made a great contribution in the growth of the College of Business from the time it was the Department of Business to its present stature.
I was, of course, brought as a professor of business when I first came. I should say assistant professor. There was no professorship then for me. I was then asked to take the position as head of the Department of Business Education when Dr. Studebaker left. In 1961, we made the first move to change our organization. And at that time, the Division of Fine and Applied Arts was established, and I was invited to serve as the first dean of it. At that time, the Department of Business Education was in the Division of Fine and Applied Arts. But President Emmons indicated that when we made 10,000 enrollment, we would have a College of Business, and sure enough, we did, at which time I then became Dean of the College of Business. It has grown, and grown rather rapidly, and it certainly has grown in the years since I have been there. Dean Black has added a great deal to the offerings of the school and the size of the enrollment.
In your initial message when you first became president, you were optimistic, said that this is a great time for education, and also difficult times.
True. It's great in that education, I believe, is appreciated more and more all the time. It isn't unusual now for people to continue to go back to school throughout their entire productive lives. It isn't unusual for them to come after retirement just for the love of learning. There isn't anything more interesting than a university, anything really more changeable. We have to adapt to society's needs, to what our students are seeking, what they are requesting. You always react to the kinds of faculty you have working together and the interactions among them. That makes it a very exciting place to be.
And of course, not only within the university family, but you have to project yourself to the community, the legislature, and
to publics, of course, everywhere. One of the best measures, I think, of a university is the success of its students. We're very proud of the success that our people have had and the loyalty they've continued to show the university years and years after they have left us.
We hear news reports that the present administration may take a different attitude. There may be some restrictions, some cuttings of programs. What do you view the course of higher education and help for students in the next few years?
There has been considerable talk about the declining enrollments we can anticipate in the years ahead. Frankly, I don't know whether that will be reality or not. Certainly, in the past 2 or 3 years, we have seen a continued growth in our own enrollment. We do know there are fewer students to graduate from high school. We know also there are more people in the community to return. I have this feeling that the college, the university that really provides quality programs, quality teaching, that earns the reputation of being for excellence in education, that is the kind of campus to which I think students will continue to go. Now, universities are not made on size alone, but quality must be a part of any institution if it is to survive or to deserve to survive.
An interview with Ball State's new president, Dr. Robert P. Bell. And now we're going to talk about students again, the Student Voluntary Service Program, and we're going to have Volunteer Week coming up. We have Sue Wanzer, who is director of the SVS program at Ball State, and Dan Towner, who is very much involved in student projects with SVS. But first, Sue, let's talk about Volunteer Week. Sounds interesting. Is this the first time?
This is the first time we've ever attempted anything like this, and we're hoping for a huge success, and I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens. But the idea came about because we wanted to find a new way to publicize student voluntary services, not only on campus to help our recruiting, but also within the community, so that different agencies would be aware of the services that we could provide for them.
Good. And when will the week be held?
February 16th through the 20th.
Oh, that's just next week.
Yeah, it's just in a week, and we have programs all 5 days.
Good. Like what kind of programs, Dan?
We have coming up on Monday, we have a recognition day for the volunteers, and we plan to show a slide presentation in each of the hall complexes on campus. We feel it necessary to expand onto the Ball State campus to let more students know that we are operating there and the opportunities we have available. And throughout the week we are holding seminars in various places for career analysts, as Janine Harold is coming in from Ball State, and she's going to be holding a workshop and lecture on the opportunities available to the students. And kind of culminating the week, we have a Great Escape Evening, term coined by Dr. Jones at the Student Volunteer House. And it'll be more or less an activity night for the students.
Good. And you, of course, are a fine example of the scope and depth of the Ball State SVS program.
Thank you.
You travel far afield,
Yes.
don't you? To Plains. Tell us
Correct.
about it.
I run the Indiana Boys School program, which goes out each Thursday night to Plainfield, Indiana. And we usually leave at 5 o'clock in the evening and return between 11 and 11:30. The Indiana Boys School is a correctional institution for juvenile delinquents, ages 12 to 18. And we primarily provide recreational opportunities for the boys there. More or less play games, pool and ping pong, and this type of activity. More or less give them a break from their routine, and of course a break from ours. And the volunteers are very supportive, and we enjoy going.
I'm sure they have these programs within the correctional institution, but is one of the most important aspects of this the outside contact?
Yes, very much. I think they have a very good coordinator of volunteer services down there, Mr. Gary Gordon, and I think it is because we carry no titles with us. We're not psychologists, and we're not counselors nor teachers, etc. So the boys tend to respond to you a little bit better, and therefore I think the conversation with them can be a little bit more satisfying to both groups.
Now, how many students? You go down once a week?
Right.
How many students go with you?
Generally, we have about an average of 9 go down.
Good. And of course, this is only one of many programs.
Correct. We're running about 20 programs right now, which we run on an ongoing basis. By that I mean we go on a regular weekly basis to different community agencies within Muncie and also Indianapolis and Plainfield, Pendleton, Newcastle. And in addition to that, we also make referrals to other community agencies. For instance, if one of our programs doesn't fit into someone's schedule or they're looking for a little bit different kind of experience, we can make that referral to the agency. And so we probably have about between 300 and 400 volunteers a quarter working with us from Ball State.
And of course, it's to Ball State's advantage and credit that they have a permanent director in you. They've made the commitment to a permanent director. This is not true of all schools.
No, that's very true, and I feel very much supported by the people for whom I work, and I get a lot of help and a lot of encouragement from them, and I do feel like the university is 100% behind us, and I think they really appreciate the kind of work that we can do in terms of being a PR tool for the university, and also the influence that we can have in the community.
You know, I travel a great deal, and I'm always seeing these SVS vans on I-69 going south, north, east, or west. They do go far afield.
They do.
Are these programs initiated by your department, SVS, or are they initiated, for example, on the part of the correctional institutions and the others?
It can really depend from program to program. We did have a program 2 years ago that was started on the initiative of a student who felt that it would be very beneficial to have a program at the Indiana School for the Blind. So he went out, he made the arrangements with the school, he kind of went around digging for some volunteers, and he developed a program, and that has become one of our regular programs, and a very strong program. So it depends on where we see the need. If a student sees a need and wants to build a program, fine. If an agency expresses a need and we can help work into that need, then we'll go ahead and do that.
Good. Dan, as a student participant in one of these programs, does a student have a choice? Are they assigned to a program? Do they request it? Or?
No, absolutely not. We, at the beginning of each quarter, we have open houses where the students who are interested may come in, and we have a sheet that they can select several programs. We right now run about 20 programs along with 40 referral agencies where we play the intermediary between the student and that particular agency. But no, they have a choice, and I think most of the programs extend greatly into the fields of many of the students. So there was a wide range of choice there, and we just hope that the students can recognize this and take advantage of such programs.
What is your major?
I'm in elementary education.
I see. So this is, as an extension, this is something that's going to help you when you get into education.
Yes, I found a lot of value working with the boys, as well as the recreation nights. We did tutor them for a period of time, and of course this provides valuable experience to the beginning teacher.
There is tutoring in addition to the recreational aspect.
Yes.
What, for example, at this correctional institution, there apparently is a very great need for tutoring. The educational level is usually
Very
stopped
minimal,
at a certain
yes.
point.
Mm-hmm.
I see. So you're providing a real service.
Yes, it's kind of unfortunate that we work with such limited numbers when there is such a great need. They more or less select the students who are kind of at the least educational level and hope that they can profit from it.
Do you find many students with whom you've been associated get into a program, whether it's a correctional institution, mental hospital, home for the elderly or whatever, and then find that, hey, I can't cut this, this is not for me. Do they then change to other programs?
Yeah, we encourage, and there is a commitment involved when a volunteer does sign up for a program and partakes in it. And I give presentations across campus, and I do say that one of the things is you do find a great deal about your career exploration, and if you are majoring in an area working with a particular group of people, you can get into that program and get into that agency and see if indeed this is the group of people that you do wish to work with.
That's great. So if you're into correctional, criminal justice or whatever, you could get into this area and see if this is what you want. Good.
Exactly.
Go into a little detail, Sue, on the range of programs.
I would say that we cater probably, well, there's a great emphasis in the social science and health services field. We work with, we have a handicapped swim program, we work with nursing homes, Indiana School for the Deaf and School for the Blind at the Boys School in Plainfield. We're in the process of getting our program going again at Pendleton Prison. We have a couple recreation programs here in Muncie in the inner city. We work with the Boys Club. We have a cooking program there, which is quite unique, where our volunteers help the kids learn nutritional, low-cost meals and how to fix them themselves. So it's quite a range, and we're trying to broaden that even further, and we're right now in the process of adding a program in the natural resources field. In an attempt to expand to other majors. As Dan said, it's a real good opportunity for people to do some career exploration and really test out their career goals and to develop some skills, and this is why we wanted to get into something a little different. So hopefully we'll have the opportunity for people interested in natural resources to gain some hands-on practice.
Even though it is a great opportunity to expand your career goals, they don't always do it for that reason.
No, true. I think a lot of people sincerely want to be involved in the community, involved in something more than just their campus life, and really get out and see what the real world, quote-unquote, is like. It's also a good way for people to learn about themselves and to develop their own skills, interpersonal or whatever those might be. And it's also a great way for people to develop new relations and meet new friends, people other than the people that they live right around.
And this is strictly a voluntary service. There's no pay involved.
No.
Ball State provides the transportation. And,
yes, we own 3 vans, which hopefully in the next few years we'll be able to begin repairing if we can find the funds to do that, because the vans now are going on 6 and 8 years old. So, but we do have the transportation, so we can provide the transportation for any student wanting to volunteer in any of our programs.
Okay. Dan, tell us briefly, we're running out of time. Once again, the week is a week from today.
Right, the 16th through the 20th, and it's primarily set up and was designed to publicize student voluntary services both to the Ball State community and to the Muncie community, in hopes that more students can become aware of the opportunities that we have that I think would be beneficial for both groups.
And I'm sure you'd welcome any visitation on the part of the public. And,
oh, yes,
very much
the community's welcome to any of the programs as well as the campus.
The inquiries, comments, or whatever.
Yes, yes,
Good.
anything, we'd appreciate it.
Good. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Sue Wanzer and Dan Towner with the Ball State University Student Voluntary Services Program, our guests tonight on Second Look. Thank you and have a good day.
Local production support of Second Look was made possible by a grant from Van Tassel's Fireside Furniture and Clock Gallery.